let's talk about this because I know that, first of all, I'm sure everyone's been getting those text messages about the election. So it's the last full day before the midterm elections tomorrow. So all over the weekend, all the big names were out on the campaign trail. Both President Biden and former President Obama appeared together in Pennsylvania to campaign for Democratic Senate candidate John Fetterman. But meantime, former President Trump did make his way over to Pennsylvania, campaigning for Republican candidate Dr. Oz. And then last night, he was in Florida for yet another rally. So here's the question, though. Do you think all these names are going to make a difference this late in the game? I mean, we're 24 hours away. And what do you think is going to happen in tomorrow's election, Erica?
Well, that's a lot. So what? Tell me the future.
Are there undecided voters? Is this going to sway them?
I don't know if people are undecided in terms of their political ideologies. I think that a lot of this is coming down to party. However, it's more than just the politicians on your ballot. There are a lot of issues that are going to affect you monetarily, are going to affect the way that your children are being treated in school. Personally, for us, I just did my ballot yesterday, and all of the different issues that were covered on the ballot weren't necessarily the issues that we've been talking about because we're also a national show. However, those text messages did come into play because I'm a Ballotpedia person. I want to make sure that I understand it based on how I'm reading it on the ballot. It's confusing for a reason. Just understand that, y'all. I looked at the text messages, I looked at Ballotpedia, and then I placed my vote.
There you go. Did your homework.
Ballotpedia.
Yeah, it's like if you're voting yes, it means
like
this. If you're voting no,
I got to step away from DBL. I have Ballotpedia. I can't say anything more.
But do you really think this is making a difference? I mean, these are the biggest names in politics, campaigning, taking time out of their day, hoping to sway one voter.
Yeah.
Do you think in this day and age, in 2022, where we are so politically divided, that there is even such a thing?
For me, there isn't, right? Even when people get up there and they rock the vote and they're like, I'm John Mayer, I don't know what side he's on, but he's like, vote for this person. It's like, I don't care. I like you, John Mayer, but I don't care who you vote for. You know, like, that never swayed me. So getting these people into these areas where they need them, I'm sure some people are influenced by having Obama go up there and see him live and orate and do all that. I think that could sway a couple voters. For me, I'm kind of like, I'm not buying all of it. I already know where I stand on the issues that I like. So I'm already, like a lot of people, I think just kind of that ship has sailed.
I think there's key people that just came out really last minute, like with the Fetterman and Dr. Oz race. Oprah, like, people were looking to see where she stood on this whole thing for like a year now. And she just popped out randomly in the last 7 days. And I think it's too late for anybody who just was a blind Oprah follower. You know, I think it is too late. And then I think when you have Obama, like, you can't really have Biden on the campaign trail and be that effective when his approval rating is so low right now. So having Obama out, to me, was a classic move because he's one of the greatest orators of our generation. And so I think that that might have been beneficial.
Yeah, I mean, we live in a world of. I didn't know. I thought we were going to move on.
Nice long beat.
I didn't know if we had to move on. Okay, because I know the television show we're doing, and I thought you were going to move on.
I was about to. It takes a second to turn my chair.
Yeah, well then don't let me sit there with dead air. Hey.
All right. So here's a question for you. Do you think a candidate's morals really matter anymore? I'm asking because it seems like this election, more than any other, the character of a candidate doesn't seem to be swaying voters. So here's some examples. First, there's more than 300 election deniers running for office, and a lot of them look like they're going to win. Okay, that's according to several different polls. Then there's also this stuff that came out about Georgia Senate candidate Herschel Walker about his alleged lies. But he could still win tomorrow. So we have to ask you, DBL Nation, does a candidate's morals or character matter to voters? Yes or no? Please vote. Go to dblvote.com to weigh in. Does it matter to you? And do you think it matters to the American public?
It matters to me. I don't think it matters to people that are single issue voters. And I think that's what we've learned, and we've finally gotten down to ground zero in terms of where we realize that it is just the letter next to the candidate. Every controversy we talked about with any political candidate would have wiped the candidate off of the planet 15 years ago. Just the idea of having one child out of wedlock that you lied about, much less multiple children, and embezzlement and people going to jail and things, people being caught on tape.
it doesn't matter anymore. And maybe this is the dawning of a new era where we start to look at candidates differently because we have to look at voters differently. We're not worried about voters saying, oh my goodness, candidate Jackson has had, 3 affairs. We now know that that doesn't matter. Now it's, can he deliver this message that we want no matter what? And I think when a candidate can do that, that's going to be what candidates look like going forward. It's not going to be candidates that absolutely have to be, air quotes, choir boys.
I think morals matter, integrity matters, but when I get frustrated because, Democrats spent tens of millions of dollars to boost far-right candidates in 9 different states. And so a lot of these people are the result of what we're seeing right now that they thought would definitely lose. And then you have neck-and-neck candidates in some of the biggest swing states like Nevada, like Georgia, like Pennsylvania. Well, their candidate didn't win in Pennsylvania, but still, you have Dr. Oz, who, whatever you think about him. But that's the thing.
He's a flawed candidate that can still win.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, people are just going to decide now, okay, here's the candidate we have, so do I throw away all the things that I think conservative people are going to vote on that I want to be put in place, or do I just go with the Democratic side because now I have this person who won't even admit the 2020 election was a real thing? And so it's like this weird place that we're in where it should be an easy decision, but with that decision you're also letting go of a lot of the other things that you wanted to vote for. When economy is on the top of mind because people are voting for the dollar right in front of them and how their wallet looks and how their grocery store purchases are looking, it's hard to tell somebody to do that when the inflation, I know it's not Biden's fault because it falls on the whole world, but it looks like that when he's leading the country.
Well, I mean, I think that we also are looking at the idea of, yes, inflation matters to people, but also so does celebrity, because everybody that we're talking about is a famous person. Dr. Oz is a television personality. Trump is a television personality. Herschel Walker was a famous football player. The people that we are talking about and the people that have traction with voters are people that we're learning, and we learned this with Trump, people that became one with the voter 20 years ago, and now they still have legitimacy because of that. So I think maybe moving forward, we start to see some of these parties looking for celebrities early to be like, hey, in 10 years, this rapper, this poet, this DJ could potentially, when they're 40, be somebody that will resonate with the...
Who's next, do you think?
Oh,
Pop
man.
culture.
I don't know who's next, but I would get into Get Me Roger Stone, because that documentary was so telling. So telling. And Al's absolutely right. It's about just inserting the candidate who can fit into this algorithm that has, I mean, whether you love it or hate it, it's brilliant.
Right.
It's effective.
And the algorithm doesn't care as long as you respond to it.
Oof. All right. Well, first, let's look at our poll. 80% of you say yes, a candidate's morals or character matter to voters. Wow. Just 20% of you say no.